How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Eternatus and how you can actually obtain it during the special Max Finale event in Pokemon Go. So as of right now in Pokemon Go, everyone should have access to the Max Finale Go Pass. This is going to be a free pass with a premium track, so you can upgrade it for $15 if you would like to. Now the rank up requirements are kind of insane if you ask me, but as someone who is playing this event free to play, I am looking at things from that perspective, so just keep in mind that even though most content creators are probably talking about this from a pay to play standpoint, this video is going to focus on what I'm personally going to do as a free-to-play player, and of course I'll go over some of the pay-to-play options as well. But overall, I would say that my biggest concern with this Go Pass is that all of the tasks are either raids or max battles, so I'm a little bit concerned that free-to-play players will even be able to obtain this without actually having to spend money, or to use their PokeCoins that they've saved up. Now typically during the week leading up to a major event in Pokemon Go like this, the points are capped on the Go Pass just for those days, but on the weekend that cap is removed and the points rewarded are increased. So even though the max you can earn from a G-Max battle right now is 25 points, and the same thing goes for 5-star legendary battles as well, this could get increased significantly over the weekend, which should make it much easier, especially for players who have, busy schedules, they've been working a lot, to actually go out and grind this all out on the weekend and hopefully not have to really spend their PokeCoins or to even spend money. At the very least, in my opinion, if they're going to advertise that Eternatus is going to be free to obtain, they should at least make it somewhat possible for people who can only play on this weekend alone. So again, it really comes down to if they actually increase those points over the weekend, which I'm pretty sure they will, but we don't really know by how much. Anyways though, going back to Eternatus, you are going to unlock the ability to catch this Pokemon once you make it to rank 60 like I just mentioned. This means you're going to need about 600 points in total if I did my math correctly. Now depending on how much they raise the limit, you should theoretically be able to get this if you do all of your free G-Max and legendary raid battles over this weekend, especially if you go into this weekend with a raid pass in your inventory already and your stacked MP. Now I've been saving up my MP all week. We also have free codes that are going to give us MP. I'll make sure to post those down below as well. Basically everything that I've talked about so far is just about obtaining Eternatus. We haven't really talked about the cost to power it up, to get it to level 30, level 40, level 50. It is pretty expensive. So we're gonna break down everything you guys possibly need to know about the costs, how many raids you have to do, and if it's actually even worth going through all this. So first of all, let's go over the power-up cost. If you want to fully max out Eternatus, it's gonna cost 496,000 Stardust, which is pretty standard. There's nothing really weird about that. But when it comes down to the candy required to take it to level 40, it's going to be 8,900, and then for the XL candy to go from 40 to 50, it's also going to be 8,900. When it comes down to every other Pokemon in game, it normally costs you 296 extra large candy to power that thing up from level 40 to 50, and if it's a Shadow Pokemon, I believe it's 360. So 8,900 is kind of insane. Now we are going to talk about their reward rates because you are going to get a lot of candy from raiding Eternatus, which means maybe this isn't as bad as it sounds, right? But again, we'll kind of save those opinions for later. So now let's talk about the max moves, right? We have max attack, which is going to be Dynamax Cannon, max guard, and max spirit. So for max attack to upgrade it all the way to level 3, you're going to have to use 1400 MP max particles, 2400 candy, and 320 extra large candy. For max guard and max spirit, you're going to have to unlock the max moves first, and then you can upgrade them all the way up to level 3. So in total, that's going to be 1800 MP, 2800 candy, and 320 extra large candy as well. So in total, if you wanted to get Eternatus all the way to level 50 and upgrade all the max moves to level 3, it's going to cost you 5000 MP, 16,900 candy, and 9,860 extra large candy. Now before we continue to talk about how insane that is, let's go over the max battle rewards so you guys can have a better idea in terms of the candy and extra large candy you're going to be getting per max battle completed for Eternatus. So from the candy, you can expect anywhere from 90 to 120, and then for the extra large candy, you can expect anywhere from 45 to 60. You're also going to get 25,000 Stardust and 50,000 experience per battle completed. Now, if you decided to go the full pay-to-win route, and that means having a Star Piece active, a Lucky Egg active, and then also doubling the rewards at the end screen for 200 PokeCoins, your candy can be anywhere from 180 to 240, extra large candy being anywhere from 90 to 120, and on top of that, you're also going to get 75,000 Stardust and 200,000 experience, so the gains can be pretty insane if you actually go hard during this weekend. And I think for some players out there, you definitely want to be going this route where the Star Piece, Lucky Eggs are active, plus you're doubling your rewards every single time. Now there have been some great people in the community who have done the math on this stuff, so if we take a look once again at the candy required and the extra large candy required, you're gonna have to do roughly 180 max battles. You heard me correctly. If you want to max out your Eternatus at level 50, upgrade all the max moves, It's 180 battles roughly. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It really depends on how the rates actually go for you, but that's expensive. I mean, that is $180 if we just did like a one-to-one value here, so yeah, don't know how I feel about that. Now, of course, you don't have to, upgrade your Eternatus to level 50. You could take it to level 40. You could take it to level 30 if you wanted to. But I think, when it comes down to it, level 40 is probably a good place where you would want to take it. Eternatus is a very powerful Pokemon, and we will talk more about its meta relevance later on in this video. But yeah, I mean, it's expensive. Now, we do need to talk about the Go Pass Deluxe for $15, which is going to get you the premium track for rewards. This is going to get you an additional 7,130 candy, 890 extra large candy, and 8800 MP max particles. So basically, if you wanted to at least have a level 40 Eternatus and then upgrade the max attack to level 3, the Go Pass Deluxe is pretty much going to get you there. And if you don't do that, well, it's probably going to be really difficult because you're not going to get as much candy from that Go Pass free version. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So again, I will share my thoughts later in this video, but now let's talk about the cost again. And in terms of like, what's the best way you should go about this, right? Because there's going to be a lot of different scenarios. We have in-person max battles, we have remote max battles, we have doubling the rewards, and then we have doubling the rewards if you're going to be using remote raid passes as well. It can get pretty expensive. And again, like depending on your local areas, some of you guys might just have to opt for remote raids instead, and that's just going to be how it is. So ideally, the most cost-effective approach is to do the in-person max battles in a populated community. This is going to cost you 25,500 PokeCoins. The way that I did this calculation is by taking the 3x MP pack bundle, and that's going to cost you 425 PokeCoins. So then you basically just do 3 times 60 to get 25,500 PokeCoins. Once again, this is the most cost-effective approach to this weekend, and that's still going to cost you a bunch of money. Now let's talk about the remote max battles, okay? So we have the cost of what it's going to be for the max particles, at least to have enough to do 180 raid battles, or max battles. I always say raid battles. Now we also have to factor in the remote raid passes, okay? So we have the 3x remote raid pass bundle for 525 PokeCoins. We times this by 60. That's going to get us 31,500 PokeCoins. Add that together with the other costs for the max particles, we now are going to sit at a cost of 57,000 PokeCoins just to max out Eternatus. Now again, this is not factoring in if you actually got the Go Pass Deluxe. If you got that, it's probably going to be cheaper than this. Now that's going to be the most expensive way to approach this, especially if you buy PokeCoins from the in-game shop. That's going to cost a lot of money. So hopefully you can get your PokeCoins a little bit cheaper elsewhere, but even then, you really don't want to be doing this. There is a slightly more inexpensive way to do this if you are going to be remote raiding for the most part, and that's going to be to actually double your rewards. I know it doesn't really seem like it's going to cut down the cost here, but it actually does. So let me break this down. So first of all, you're only going to have to do 90 raids instead of 180. That's because you are doubling the rewards at the end of the screen. So 90 times 200 is going to be 18,000 PokeCoins. So instead for the max particles, it's going to cost you 12,750 PokeCoins, and then for the remote raid passes, it's going to cost you 15,750 as well. Now, if we add everything together, it's going to be a total of 46,500 PokeCoins. So if you are going to go the remote raid pass route, this is going to be a cheaper alternative to that, which is definitely recommended. Now, of course, some of you guys might be curious, well, what happens if I double the rewards at the in-person raids? Well, that's going to be slightly more expensive. So it ends up coming out to about 30,750 PokeCoins instead of the 25,500 that I mentioned earlier if you don't do this. I'm not really sure why it works out this way. I think it's just because remote raid passes just cost a bunch of money, so it kind of works out better if you double the rewards in a bigger quantity like that. For the extra Stardust and the extra experience, those extra 5,000 PokeCoins are probably worth it because you have to factor that in as well. Like, you're gonna get a lot more rewards out of this stuff, not just the Eternatus candy. So basically, when it comes down to it, I think it makes the most sense to double your rewards every single time. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but this is just purely off the math. Like, I'm not gonna be doing any of this stuff. I just think if you're gonna be going this hard for Eternatus, you may as well go that route, get the extra Stardust, and get the extra experience. So putting the math aside, we obviously know how expensive Eternatus is going to be in Pokemon Go. I think most of you are probably wondering, though, how good this Pokemon is going to be. So let's go ahead and start off with raid battles. And the good news here is that Eternatus is going to be comparable, and actually slightly better, than Mega Rayquaza. You heard me right, Mega Rayquaza is the best dragon type in the game, and it's also a Mega Evolution. Eternatus just by itself is comparable to that. Like, they're basically the same. So that means that it's going to be one of the best dragon type attackers you can use in raid battles by a mile compared to everything else. So if you do happen to take this guy to level 50, it is going to be worth its value, at least in my opinion. Now on top of that, it's also going to be a solid poison type attacker to use in raid battles, but since it actually had Sludge Bomb replaced with Cross Poison, it will not be the top attacker in that format. Next up in terms of PvP, Eternatus is going to rank in the top 10 for the Open Master League with Dragon Tail plus Dynamax Cannon and Flamethrower, so you are going to be able to use it there as well if you actually commit to getting all of that extra large candy. It will literally be the definition of a pay-to-win Pokemon though, because of how excessive they have made these candy requirements. Now finally, Eternatus is going to be usable in max battles as the best Dragon type attacker with Dynamax Cannon, so at least for those of you willing to commit a ton of resources into obtaining all the candy required, you can rest easy knowing that Eternatus is going to be relevant in most of the metas here. Now finally, we need to go over Dynamax Cannon, which is going to be an adventure effect in Pokemon Go. Now don't worry, it's not like Dialga and Palkia where you have to, get lucky and get a Dynamax Cannon. This is going to be a guaranteed moveset once you get your Eternatus. Now in terms of the cost to run it for every 10 minutes, it's going to be 5,000 Stardust and 30 candy. Given how much Eternatus candy we're going to be getting from raid battles, this actually seems somewhat appropriate. Now basically what this adventure effect is going to do is it's going to boost all the max moves by 1 level, which means you can essentially have level 4 max moves on your Pokemon. This means more damage and tanking abilities, and depending on the Dynamax or Gigantamax Pokemon used, it can be really, really good. I also want to clarify this boost is not exclusive to Eternatus, so if you are kind of confused like, oh, is it only going to work on Eternatus to get to max level 4? No, it's going to work on all of your Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon. Now that we've pretty much covered everything about Eternatus, I want to go over my final thoughts. And as most of you guys know, I play this game free to play. I've never spent any money on PokeCoins, and I've earned everything through gyms. Now I have also been gifted event tickets for major events like Go Fest, Go Wild, Go Tour sometimes. And even if I wasn't gifted those event tickets, I would still most likely buy them to actually play the events over the weekend. I think it's a really good experience, especially during Go Fest with that increased shiny odds. I just think it's really fun. I would do that every single time. But those are the only situations where I would actually spend money on this game. Like I said, I've never spent any money on PokeCoins. I don't buy any of the Go Pass Deluxes or anything like that. I think if it comes with the Go Fest ticket or something, then that's perfectly fine. But since they've been separating all of this stuff, I would just get the ticket and then that's pretty much it. Just to actually play the event, right? Because you get all these special spawns and stuff. I think that's worthy. I think the experience aspect is worthy. So when I say this right now, I don't say it lightly. I've played this game since 2016 without any breaks, and this is honestly like the first time in 9 years that I actually feel like they've gone too far. Now I totally understand Eternatus is supposed to be this super meta relevant Pokemon, and it is, but usually there is some sort of way for free-to-play players to obtain the resources over time, and Eternatus could come back in raids, which is my best prediction as of right now, but the candy required to even get it to level 40 is ridiculous. For a major event weekend like this, it's the first time in years that I've actually felt really unmotivated to play. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to go out there, do some max battles, maybe some legendary raid battles, and even if I want to, I can spend some of the PokeCoins that I've saved up to buy some more max particle packs, but that's pretty much about it. Maybe like 1-2 hours tops per day, and for a Go Fest finale weekend, or just for like a Go Fest or any major event weekend, I'm kind of used to playing all 8 hours. Like, I go pretty hard and I grind really hard, so this is, I guess, kind of underwhelming for me. And not only that though, when it comes down to this, like, the Eternatus is just candy farming. You're not hunting IVs, you're not hunting for a potential shiny, it's just candy over and over again. And with all of the other Gmax Pokemon available at the same time this weekend, like, I kind of want to use my MP on like Gmax Charizard, maybe Gmax Gengar, for a chance to get them with their shiny forms and the darkness background. That would be super cool. But it seems like I have to pick between those and some Eternatus candy to barely power it up. So I'm gonna go out over this weekend. I'm probably gonna do a few raids and hang out with my friends, but overall, I'm really not expecting much, and I probably won't be powering up Eternatus for a very, very long time. The reason that I included this segment of the video is because I felt like this was something I really wanted to be transparent about, especially as someone who does play this game mostly free to play with like very little exceptions. So, of course, I do want to hear your own thoughts in the comments section down below. Let me know how you guys feel about Eternatus. Are you going to be raiding hard over this weekend? And of course, in the meantime, if you do want to get yourself ready for the upcoming Gmax battles, I'd recommend watching these two videos next.